Missouri farmer Richard Fordyce has been appointed the USDA Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation. Hi, I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network. I had the opportunity on Thursday evening to sit down with him to talk about this appointment and what it means for him moving forward. In his first media interview with the appointment, here's our conversation. First of all, Richard, just telling you congratulations. I mean, when you and I talked back in November and I asked you if you were going to get a new address, meaning moving back to Washington, D.C., You kind of said, well, we'll see. And I think there's a lot of excitement that has just really been bubbling over the last 24 hours when you were appointed Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation.
Well, when we did last talk, that was a very honest answer. We'll see. I mean, I hadn't, obviously that was very quickly after the election and obviously not a lot had happened yet. We didn't have a secretary, right, at that point. And so, the process, I would imagine the process is just a little different, for each administration and each time, that they're wanting to fill positions. But, I'm super excited, obviously incredibly humbled. And I know you and I talked a little bit about that before, having this opportunity and going back to Washington, going back to USDA to work on behalf of America's farmers and ranchers is like, it's very humbling.
Well, and it just shows, the administration coming in, which was the previous administration, saw something in you in your last role in the USDA to say, we want him back. It might be in a different role, but they knew your dedication and your understanding of agriculture, which makes it a perfect marriage.
Well, you know my history pretty well, but I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer from Northwest Missouri. That's really all I've ever wanted to be, when I was growing up and, kind of wanted to be like my dad. And when I went to work last time at USDA, what a thrill, what a thrill to be a part of some of the programs that we did then. We implemented the 2018 Farm Bill, which, man, that was an insight into an activity that I would have never guessed I would have had the opportunity to do. And, I do think we did some things right in the first Trump administration. And, I guess somebody was paying attention. I don't know. Again, that's kind of hard to talk about.
So let's talk about what this role all entails as being the Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation.
Yeah. So back in the first Trump administration, Secretary Perdue did a little bit of realigning with the mission areas and actually added an agency to what we call now farm production and conservation. So the mission area consists of the Farm Service Agency and everything that entails, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, and the Risk Management Agency, which is charged with everything related to crop insurance and that side of like risk management. So, when Perdue looked at it, he said, it makes some sense to me to put under one mission area the three agencies that are most farmer facing. Two of them are typically co-located in a service center in a county, and, to put those three agencies that are the ones that most directly work with farmers and ranchers across the country, put those in the same mission area. And so that's what farm production and conservation really is, and the agencies that are in it.
Well, and it's interesting because you have an understanding, I think, twofold. You understand what these agencies are about from your previous role in Washington, D.C., but you also understand what these agencies do as a Missouri farmer.
I do. I've been across the counter at FSA. I've worked with my crop insurance representative, forever, and I've done a lot of conservation practices, initiated through NRCS. And so, spent a lot of trips into the service center, doing acreage reports and and all of those kinds of things. And so, I have worked with all three agencies, for a lot of years, doing a lot of different things.
What is some of your bucket list goals as you look forward to making the move back to DC?
I don't know that I don't really know what those would be today, Susan. Obviously it's been 4 years since I've been at USDA as the administrator. So, I think it's going to take some time to get in and see how things are different, today. And so I don't really have any planned things on a bucket list, but, other than, just to do our very, very best to represent American agriculture and specifically farmers and ranchers across the country.
Well, it definitely is a wonderful opportunity. We're excited to have you back there, not only from the communication level that comes with you being back in Washington, D.C., but again, how you get it because you wear boots, just like all the other farmers and ranchers across the nation.
Yeah, I do. And, I'm just honored and humbled and thrilled to be appointed, ready to get going. First off will be a confirmation hearing, with the Senate. And so anxious to visit with those national leaders, about this position. So we'll get that scheduled and get started, and then, excited to get started all together.
That was going to be my next question. Has a date been set that you know of, or maybe what kind of prep do you have to do?
I don't know. No, there's been no date set. And I think, that, it's a great opportunity for me to introduce myself to those, to those national leaders as well. I think probably some of them know me a little bit, some of them don't, and just an opportunity for me to be able to introduce myself and talk about American agriculture.